Okay, I'm going to start off with, I want to read you this little letter I wrote I handed out. Dear citizen, it saddens me to inform you that the Canadian government no longer has the capacity to protect you from criminal foreign interests. Project Sidewinder brings to light hard evidence of corrupt politicians, including Stephen Harper, who has chosen to cover up investigations critical to national security. The Prime Minister has chosen not to inform you due to his own personal involvement. Project Sidewinder involves a criminal brotherhood that has taken over Canadian governance. Lawmakers have protected this allegiance with the Emergency Powers Act established throughout the time of the FLQ incident. Here's what you might not know. You probably have forgotten the barn burning incident involving RCMP. The FLQ were meeting with the Black Panthers to reveal a Freemason fraternity embedded in the RCMP. These Freemasons are linked to Albert Pike, creator of the KKK. A Royal Macdonald inquiry shut down the RCMP espionage unit. CSIS was set up as a civilian authority governed by the CRC, whose board members are made up of the Canadian official opposition. There is evidence the RCMP filtered their top bureaucrats back into CSIS. Covert Entry by Andrew Mitrovikov reveals this fact and available at any public library. And the book is, like I said, available. Covert Entry is exposure to CSIS agents opening your mail. The book reveals a corporation owned by the ex-RCMP officer that opens your mail and scans the contents. The shadow government controlled by Freemasons was faced with a dilemma when the official opposition was controlled by two separatist factions. On one side was the Reform Party and the other was Bouchard, who was with the Bloc Quebec. The CIRC never allowed them to sit on the board. CSIS dispatched an agent to deal with the situation. His name was Grant Bristow. He got the job as Preston Manning's bodyguard. Grant Bristow's other assignment was building up a white supremacy empire known as the Heritage Front. Mr. Bristow trained the Heritage Front members the art of gang stalking using methods that would frighten any communist infiltrator. Imagine being harassed by members of the Heritage Front with the blessings of the RCMP. CSIS and the RCMP played both sides, where now there was no need for barn burning because these two sides never agreed to meet. The RCMP set up the Anti-Racist Action Group to confront Grant Bristow's Heritage Front. If they did, the RCMP could agree to arrest them all. This story is just tip of the iceberg. Like I said, the RCMP set up the Anti-Racist Action Group, set them up to be confronted, and kept all these groups fighting until they come up with some really good strategists and fighters, and then they turn them on the public. And that's what has been going on, and this is not put in the media. The Freemasons are a global cult. Sir John A. Macdonald is believed to be Illuminati, and he created Northwest Mounted Police, who are now the RCMP, even back when we learned of bogus trials with people like Louis Riel and others. Be careful what you believe when you see people running from police on TV. You could be watching me or even yourself running from them. The media is being told, if you want proof, to do the research in the government archives available on the internet. Then tells a news reporter and has fun watching the government cover it up. This is basically what I've done is I've told the media about this, and I basically got told, pack your shit up, get it out of here, and don't ever come back. And the reason they do that is because they're owned by these guys. I live at 104 4824th Street, Edmonton. My name's Dean Roger Ray. My neighbor downstairs would be tapping, even disturbing their own child's sleep. Okay, that person's long gone. They've replaced it with other stalkers that have children come and going, but I don't know if it's their own. And these stalkers that have replaced this Sarah that was once in my place, the new replacements are just as wicked, and they do the same thing. And anyway, I wrote, she is offered a reward if I crack or commit a crime. If I try to do the same thing, the surveillance they have allows them to know if I'm showing witnesses. So in other words, if I try to do the same thing, cops show up at my house, arrest me, just like as if I committed a crime. If they do it, the second I try to show the police, they will not. They'll have enough surveillance that they basically will get away with it. And they've been. There's sites like www.stopcovertwar.com, and the internet is just chock full of cyber stalkers censoring information, targeting anyone that knows the truth. Most stalkers track back to websites owned by the Carlyle Group. The Carlyle Group is funded by the Canadian Pension Plan and has some very famous investors like Osama bin Laden's father. Sadly, my cousin has fallen victim to a vicious boyfriend named Colin Robinson of Ottawa. She was beat up and her hair pulled out by the roots. Chelsea's boyfriend's a hacker and I believe infiltrated my aunt's place and erased all my research from my computer when I went off to work. This is the struggle you face when you know the truth and you know where to look on the internet to find it. Tent City is just scraping just a little bit off the top of what's going on. It's worse than Tent City. I mean, you should really check out the on what is it, Spiritually Smart site, www.spirituallysmart.com. You should check out Waking Up to Waco, where instead of Koresh committing suicide and burning his own house down, the military brought in flame tanks and burnt his house down and created massive crimes, killing the children, and then blaming it on Koresh. And once you realize how vicious and how badly the media can be turned around, and you start waking up to the fact that I'll start looking up by Jesuits on Google Video. Start looking at what they are, and then you start looking up Branch Davidians, which is David Koresh, and you start noticing that they're Seventh Day Adventists, and that you realize that the Seventh Day Adventists and the Jesuits have been battling for centuries for freedom. And when you know what they know, you know why they battle for freedom, and then you see that I'm not really going to say if Koresh is a good guy or not, but I'm going to say what they did to him was wrong. And because like we need more evidence than what was presented, but obviously when you're looking at a video, it shows a plane tank going in and lighting up the building, and it wasn't Koresh, and they poking holes so the flames build up. That was Waco, Texas. And the reason why this is all relevant to Canada is because these groups are international. If you looked up Amistad, you'd find these guys. If you looked up most of the presidents, JFK. If you looked up John F. Kennedy and you typed in secret societies beside him on Google Video or YouTube, you'd get his secret society speech, and you'd learn that this stuff is going on. Even JFK was murdered because he tried to expose it. And it's really sad how people don't wake up to it. It's like pull your hair out, whether it's just trying to explain it to people that we've been really screwed over so much, in fact, that these guys are they don't even carry guns anymore. Like the people that are the real conspirators, they don't carry guns. They just sit there and demand, and we listen. And it's gotten so bad that you look at Tent City, and we all should get out of the system. We should all get out of the system that's not working for us anymore. Like, look how much you're paying in taxes. Like, one guy's complaining about $15,000 worth of taxes. Well, that's ridiculous. If you're going to do your share of work, why should somebody take a portion out and not explain where it's going? And this is why we should never be turned around or where we service the government. It should be always the government service the individual, and then we vote who can lead and have the power. But what happens is these guys snuck in around us, and they snuck in around us, and they fixed the system so it don't work no more. Only works in their favor. Only their people get in. Only their people get represented by their media. And once you realize the media is all connected, the politicians are all connected, even to the law is all connected, then you start to realize the hospitals are all connected, then you realize the schools are all connected. So they're educating a bunch of future people to be slaves as well. Look how they're treating the slaves. That's what we are, slaves. And look how they're treating the slaves. Tent City. There you are. They got people in there. I don't know if those guys are paid cybersuckers or not, but they're doing what I heard they do. Sit there and run them down. Sure that they have no self-esteem left. tell them that they should be getting a job, whatever.